Hey, welcome back to Around the Gridiron. This is episode 6 after a brief hiatus. We had the off season, some OTAs. We took some time off. Austin will be back. He is a busy man. As an NFL agent, he's traveling all over the place. Last time I talked to him, he was at the BYU game, scouting some guys. So he's out there making his money, doing his job. We got Josh Keatley here today, my former teammate from Buckeyes Wire. He's been on here before with us. We're going to talk some football, and hopefully he'll be joining us going forward. So really excited to have Josh here. Josh, why don't you intro yourself here?
Dude, I'm excited. I'm excited to join you, man. I've been on, like you said, I've been on this podcast a couple times, right? You say brief hiatus, but I mean, I think Blink-182 has been separated for a short amount of time in your podcast. The 6 episodes podcast is like 3 years old. There's only 6 episodes out. And by the way, I hope Austin listens to this because I think he's done. Okay, he's a single man now. He's out there in Colorado just slinging it. Like, he just slaying, dude, bringing it. I mean, he's done, bro. Every time we text him, we've been texting the dude for like 3 weeks. He's like,
he's living good. Yeah, he's a humble guy, but he's definitely living good out there. And But he's our boy. He'll be back. He'll probably have some good stuff to add. But yeah, last time I talked to him,
you guys both play kickball?
Huh?
You guys both play kickball?
Yeah, Thursday night I play kickball. I think he plays Thursday nights too. It's great. I'm on this team. I see your balls. Great squad. That's play on words. I see you. So it's my wife and all her friends that work at the local children's hospital, or my wife used to. But I see you. Our balls. I see your balls. We're great. We won 12-7 tonight. We're tied for first. Dude, really funny moment. This guy. Well, I have guys come up to me and try to recruit me they're like, oh, hey, man, you seem pretty athletic. Like, you play sports? And I'm like, nope, never did. Do not want to be on your team. I have zero interest. And then tonight, this guy's like, dude, you're pretty big and fast. Like, I would hate to ever get in your way on something. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, man. Like,
I don't want to play football.
Yeah, just let me kick the ball and drink my beers, dude. Like, get out of my face.
Well, good for you, man. I don't do anything competitive like that anymore. I didn't know that there were so many kickball leagues because Austin said he was in one, and then I was like, this guy's 30 years old in the kickball league. And then you're saying, oh, I got kickball tomorrow too. I'm like, what the is
dude? I'll tell you, it's a fun time. It's like, for me, I don't like playing in the ultra competitive league. I'll sound like an asshole here, but I don't think some of those guys ever really played a college sport. So this is them like reliving their glory days, and they just take it a bit too serious for me. But we played the level below that, which is called social, and it's a good time. Sometimes you run into jerks. Dude, I watched a kid somehow pull a hamstring running to first base in a kickball game. And he's like, he was so over the top, man. Like, he was so aggressive, and like, you're just watching him like, what's your deal, right? And then he runs out to first and pulls up. He's like, damn it, that's my hammy. I know I just popped it. I'm like, what are you, Lachey Seastrunk running for Baylor here, pulling a hamstring, dude? Like,
I know it popped.
Field. Like, yeah, I know it popped, Doc. I know it popped. Like, I'm like, get this guy out of here. Call the cart. Roll him out of here. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I like those dudes at the gym that are like, they lift weight that they can't do. Like, I don't do that anymore. Like, when we were at college, I would do like, oh, go stone it. Oh, I'm almost there. That's all you. The guy's spotting you, pull it up. That was all you, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, but I don't
barely touched it. Barely touched it.
Yeah. But now it's like, I don't, if I even feel like the slightest tinge, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna lower weight. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get that anymore. But there's some dudes that still roll in there, bro. They got the elbow, like, what's that thing that helps you the bench press wraps?
Oh, yeah.
Jacket or whatever. I'm like, dude, this is a Planet Fitness. That's not. They don't even have a bench. It's not even a real bench. It's like,
sir, this is a Wendy's.
But they don't even have the real bench. They have the what's it called? The it's the thing that you got the hooks on.
Oh, so Smith machine.
Smith machine. Yeah, it's like 25. The bar's like actually 25 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, so if you're Smith machine benching with elbow straps on.
Yeah, dude, and a spotter. You don't need that's what the Smith machine's for. You don't need the spotter.
It is the spotter, my friend. Yeah,
dude.
Hey,
that's intense, man.
I'll try to pivot and get us on topic because I know Ronnie's going to edit this. Let's talk about football. Let's talk about the NFL. Let's talk about a little college football. I really want to kick it off with college football, and get your thoughts because I know you do a lot for Buckeyes Wire.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
there seems to be a shift in the balance of power. Alabama doesn't look as strong as they once did. Ohio State looks good, but I think there's some question marks there too once they get outside the Big Ten. Clemson is another one, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they've been able to, we used to say, oh, you just reload. It doesn't look like Clemson can reload. And then
Mm-mm.
you've got USC out west. Jordan Addison's there. Caleb Williams is there. They've gotten some recruits, but then they're struggling against, who was it, Oregon State. So what's your take on college football and who are kind of the power players right now?
So if I was making the playoffs right now, obviously it's Georgia, Ohio State. Then I'm probably going to take Clemson and USC. That's who my top 4 are. Now that could change, right? I don't know what's going to happen at the end of the year, right? If Alabama wins the SEC, that's obviously going to take my Georgia spot. I've always been a strong proponent of you got to win your conference to get in. There's only 4 spots. No conference is good enough to warrant 50% of the field. Is the SEC the best conference? 100%. I agree with that 100%. But are they so much better than every other conference that they warrant 50% of the championship
Well, the
field?
SEC at this point is like the only conference. There's like 37 schools in the SEC.
Right. But I don't think there's ever been this much parity in college football. Whether that's I think it's a good thing. I really do, because you're seeing a lot of shine on these smaller schools, Coastal Carolina, Appalachian State. The Sun Belt Conference as a whole has just been killing it. Cincinnati's still kind of a powerhouse. I think it's a good thing. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know if it's because of the transfer portal, if it's because of NIL, if it's because coaches are getting fired faster because they're getting paid more. I don't really know what the answer is. I guess my thought process is the transfer portal, right?
Could be. Yeah, I mean, guys are jumping. I mean, Kentucky and Mark Stoops have really used the transfer portal a lot.
Yeah.
I think the transfer portal is almost like JUCO on steroids, right? Like, there were certain teams that used to build off of JUCO players, we're going to go get these guys. And now you're getting a guy who's better than a JUCO player. No offense to a JUCO player, but I know he can play within an FBS program. I know he's been getting, the right facilities, the right nutrition, everything. And now I just bring him to my team and it's plug and play. I don't have to worry, hey, this guy was at a 2-year school. Is he going to be able to handle a 4-year program? Like, the transfer portal is nuts. I want to talk about coaches getting fired for a second. And really, by talking about coaches getting fired, I want to talk about my man out in Kansas, the former D3 coach, Lance Leipold, who has to be top of list for almost any job that's coming available. What do you think about what he's doing out there? It seems pretty crazy.
No, I mean, I don't think it's crazy at all. I think everybody that watched him kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, the dude pretty much built Wisconsin Whitewater, right? And then he went to Buffalo and they dominated within 3 years? He was pretty much
he turned that program around quick.
Yeah, because I think he was there. Was he there with Khalil Mack?
He might have been there with Khalil Mack. I know for sure he was there with the I forget his name, Tyreek Jackson, maybe, the big quarterback.
Oh yeah. He was definitely with Tyreek Jackson. He was definitely there for KJ Osborne. Everybody talks about KJ Osborne from Miami. He was at Buffalo first. He was
the running back, Jared Patterson.
Brandon Oliver before him. I think he was there for Brandon Oliver. I can't remember if he was there for. There was another running back that was with Green Bay for a bit. I think his last name was Marks. I think he was there for that. I mean, there's been I think Stephen Means, who was in the NFL for a bit. I think that was his. I know his last name was Means, a defensive end. Another one that was. The point is they've produced some talent, and Buffalo was pretty much dominating the MAC, and the MAC is one of those conferences where parity has always been there, because those schools are so in the same goddamn area that it doesn't.
They're all recruiting the same kids.
Exactly. Yeah, man. So there's parity's always been there. It's always been there. It's like the NFC East of the college football. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
And he dominated the 3 years he was there. He dominated. So when they hired him, I knew. I believe I was on. I think I even wrote it for an article somewhere that within 3 years he was going to have Kansas as a competitor for the Big 12 championship. And I wasn't wrong. This doesn't surprise me at all, dude.
I mean, they won 2 games last year, and they're 5-0, right? And
yeah, man.
And they're getting into the meat of their schedule. They got TCU, Oklahoma, I think Texas. They've got some tough games coming up. But I was talking to someone, and I was saying, okay, the last time Kansas won 5 games, I think you got to go back. It's like 2016 or something crazy.
They were favored against Duke. That's the first time Kansas was favored against a Power 5 team since like 1999 or some shit. Like it was crazy, dude. I might even be selling it short. It might even longer than that. I mean, even if they lose the next 6 games, which is possible. TCU looks tough. They play them this week. It's possible. It's definitely possible. That's still a big
step up, though. And I think they're going to go to a bowl game. I was saying to someone like you just got to win one, right? It's 6 to get in, so you just win one more and you're in. But I think really, well, 2 things stood out to me. One, I don't think they've been this good since the Mark Mangino, Todd Reesing, Aqib Talib days. You remember those days? Like,
dude, yeah, dude.
It's been a while, And number 2, a guy who I really respect, who's a football coach as well. I asked him what he thought, and he just said, Leipold can build a culture. And I think, we'll get into the NFL, and I want to talk Bears. Building a culture is one of the hardest things to do, I think, and getting guys to buy in, especially when, no disrespect to Ryan Day, it's easy to get guys to buy into Ohio State, right? There's a pedigree, there's a whatever. It's hard to get guys to buy into the Kansas Jayhawks program, right?
Yeah,
like
that's not offense to Ryan Day at all. You can be mentally ill and win 6 games at Ohio State. No, I mean, think about it. If they gave me a headset, I could win 6 games as the head coach of Ohio State. My sister could, because that's just how it is. You know what I mean? You're
getting the best talent.
Exactly, but the expectations are still different, right? I mean, that's why if we're talking about, we're going to talk about Jimbo Fisher later. I mean, or Paul Chryst at Wisconsin. I mean, that dude's won 9 games this season. Well, let's
talk about Paul Chryst now, man. But first, before we talk about Paul Chryst, I want to take one really, really quick moment to talk about Alabama and Jalen Milroe. And I love everything about that kid. I don't think he can throw the ball, but holy shit, when he took off on that 70-yard run, it was everything I wanted to see. And I was tweeting, I was being a jerk, and I was saying, like, I'm tired of these quarterbacks throwing it, man. Just run it. And I saw him, and when he first came in, he was trying to play like Bryce Young, right? He's trying to drop back and whatever. But I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, brother, you're built like a running back, right? Like, I see you. You've got the 2-bar, right? You've got these big old arms. I'm like, just run it. And when it was 3rd down and he took off, and I saw him cut it back, I'm like, he's going to go all the way. And this kid took a 70-yard run to the house, and I loved every minute of that. I hope Bryce is all right with the shoulder, but dude, I would love to see Saban go back to that old Jalen Hurts, Blake Sims style offense, just power run, quarterback run, throwing slants and curls. Like, it just bring it back.
He might need to, with the lack of talent they got on the outside, and Bryce Young is still hurt. You know?
And I forget, they got some really fast wide receiver who's been hurt for a while.
Oh, from Louisville.
Yeah, he's been injured.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
And me either. And Jamar,
that guy was never. That's the thing. You know how when a recruit is like a 3-star and Ohio State offers them or Alabama offers them, and then 2 weeks later you'll check their recruiting. Yeah, it's like, what the hell? You know what I mean? They do the same thing with the transfer portal. Alabama gets a guy from Louisville who was like the 3rd leading receiver. No, I think he was the leading receiver last year, but and he was fast. But let's be real. Like Jahmyr Gibbs, that guy was a baller at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, he was.
Straight up, no argument. But the dude from Louisville, it's like, bro, come on, man, let's chill out a little bit.
I know it's just speed, I think, and people get so excited to hear a guy's fast, like, this guy runs a 4.3.
Yeah, once he gets to a real college program, they're really going to know how to use him. It's like, you don't think Louisville, who throws the ball 80 times a game, knows how to use him?
Nope, couldn't use him.
You know what I mean?
No idea.
It's not like the NFL. I can see that with the NFL, but in college, where it's like, dude, you serious, man?
Guys at Louisville, goobers. They don't know what they're doing. And speaking of people who don't know what they're doing, now I want to come back to Paul Chryst, because I saw, and I know you talked about, the program getting worse. Dude, I saw a thing. He didn't have the recruiting department set up at some point. Like, he was struggling. Maybe it was a turnover on staff, but there's some linebacker. I forget the kid's name. Whoever's listening, right? You'll be shouting it out, right? Like, oh, it's Joe, whatever the kid's name was a 2-star recruit, kind of under the radar kid, the type of kid Wisconsin offers early. Took a visit to Madison. No one was in the football office to meet him. Nobody was there to talk to him. He ends up becoming a 4-star and committing to Michigan, and is like a stud linebacker. I think he's starting for them now. And it just, you look at those things and you're like, okay, Paul Chryst, you should know better, right? Like, you played, you were at Pitt, now you're here. You know how to run a program. What the hell are you doing? right? And
Well,
it's just bad.
when he was hired from Pittsburgh, I remember thinking that was a dumb. I remember being like, dude, that's who you hired? Like, I mean, I get that. But I think that they were so focused on filling that stereotype of Wisconsin football that they had like tunnel vision where they're like, okay, hey, like they were never going to hire a guy like Lance Leopold because they wanted to do that was going to run it 80 times a game. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's like, dude, you don't have to do that. There's you're Wisconsin. Go get the guy you want. I mean, Paul Chryst didn't light the world on fire with Pitt. I mean, Pitt's way better now than they were under Paul Chryst. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a big Pat Narduzzi fan, so I like everything
He's good, yeah.
I like everything Pat's doing out there. Shout out to Coach Narduzzi. I'm sure you're a longtime listener of the
Well, 6
podcast.
episodes.
Yeah, you've been waiting for us to come back. Well, we're back, Coach. So enjoy this shout out. But Paul Chryst, man, not surprised he got ran out of town. Again, that's another program where it almost runs itself, right? Like Wisconsin has pedigree. Wisconsin can recruit. And he was just getting worse and worse. And I think even when you look at it as like, dude, he got Graham Mertz, who a lot of people were really excited about, probably the antithesis of a Wisconsin quarterback, right?
Highest rated quarterback recruit in Wisconsin history. Might have been the highest rated recruit.
I mean, dude, look, Russell Wilson aside, we've watched when it's been John Stocco and, these guys that they're really just, Jim Sorgi, they're really just there to hand it off to BJ Hill or PJ Hill and how many other guys? Melvin Gordon, Monty Ball, Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor. Dude, all of them. All of them, bro.
They're there. That's what your job is when you play quarterback at Wisconsin, right? Hey, hand it off. And then maybe if we have Nick Toon and Travis Beckham, you throw it to them. But other than that, right, like they're not there to play quarterback. And so you go get Graham Mertz.
Except for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was different.
But he was a transfer, right? He transferred in and came there. And even when he was there, the offense, him going there was to get pro ready, right? It was to show, hey, I can play in a pro style offense and be draftable. I think they went to the Rose Bowl, right?
I think so. But they were multidimensional. You didn't stack 8 people in the box against Russell Wilson.
Well, you can't, right? Because Russ is gonna
different from every other Wisconsin quarterback, right?
Yeah, and then so you get Graham Mertz, and I think everybody gets excited because everybody loves the quarterback position, and he's highly recruited, and the kid can sling it, and
he was good. That first game he had.
First year, he was good as a freshman, and now you're 2 years later, and it just looks like
he's terrible. He's awful. He's awful.
Yeah. And so you're wondering, like, what the hell is going on behind the scenes there, right? Like, it's not like my guy who I like at Boston College, who was at Notre Dame. What's the quarterback's name?
Phil Jerkovich?
Yeah, Phil Jerkovich. Right, so Jerkovich, I love him. And he reminds me a lot of Roethlisberger, and I watch him, and he's got Zay Flowers, and I wonder, okay, why hasn't he really popped? But then I think, oh, right, because he's at Boston College.
Yeah, they're terrible everywhere else, too. That's not a good team. Yeah.
Like, you're at Boston College. I get it. You're a PA guy. He probably should have went to Pitt. If he was at Pitt right now, or if he was at Pitt last year, honestly, and we'll talk NFL, I think he could have beat out Kenny Pickett. I think Jerkovich and Kenny Addison, is it Kenny? Addison? Jordan Addison and Phil Jerkovich would have been filthy.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if he's beating out Kenny Pickett, though, dude. Pickett's
been there 18 years, man.
Yeah, man. Nothing was beating that, dude. I mean,
Kenny Pickett is the Perry Ellis of college football,
dude.
Man.
He was the dude, man. I like Phil Jerkovich. Honestly, I think it's funny. I was talking to my buddy's a Colts fan, and he was like, "Do you think we're going to draft Stroud? Do you think we're going to draft Stroud?" Every Ohio State game I've been. No, I don't want to exaggerate. The last 2 Ohio State games, at least, I've been to. The Colts have been there. Not once have I seen them watch C.J. Stroud warm up. Not once have I seen them on that side of the field. The Titans show up for one game. John Robinson shows up, and the head of player development for the Titans show up, and they're like just staring C.J. Stroud down. I'm laughing. I was telling him about it. He was wanting to throw up. But I told him, Phil Jerkovich, if I had to put money on who's going to be the best NFL quarterback of this group, considering, because C.J. Stroud's got the best odds, Bryce Young's kind of like the Heisman. Phil Jurkovich, his odds are going to be really low. I put all my money on Phil Jurkovich.
If he gets in the right spot, he's got the NFL arm, he's got the size.
Yeah,
like I said,
and he's already dealt with a hell of a lot of adversity, dude.
And I think that's huge. And I want to touch on that when we get to the NFL. And obviously I cover the Bears and talk about Justin Fields, because I had a lot of that today of just I think he's not used to what he's getting put through in Chicago, and it's really starting to hurt him. But sticking with college, I like Jurkovich a lot. I like him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you're saying, okay, these guys are here at Tennessee and they're not looking at CJ Stroud, because I'm like, well, yeah, there's so many guys there, right? You got Smith and Jigba. You got now Marvin Harrison Jr., right? He's
Paris
there.
Johnson.
Paris Johnson is a huge one. And for Tennessee, probably really needs a lineman, because it looks like Taylor Lewan is on his last leg here. So
he's done, I think.
He's out for the season. So
I think he's going to retire too.
Is he retiring?
I don't know. That's what I heard, but maybe I'm
wrong. It wouldn't surprise me, man. I mean, he's been so beat up and he's played long enough. It wouldn't surprise me if he's on the way out. But I want to get now to, we've talked a little bit about ineptitude. Let's get to Jimbo Fisher, man. And I don't know what he's doing out there. And I'll tell you this. He talked a lot of trash about, I was at LSU with Saban and I know where the bodies are buried and I know this and I know that.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. And I'm just looking at him now like, brother, without Jameis Winston, you don't have a national championship.
So I don't want to shit on Jimbo Fisher as his overall resume. I'll shit on Paul Chris. I'll shit on Paul Chris' overall resume, because I don't know how he got where he got his at all.
Well, he played at Wisconsin, so they brought him back.
That does help.
They're falling for the same dude. Hold on, and they're falling for the same trap. I forget who the coach was before Chris, Bielema.
And no, because there was a guy between Bielema and him.
Yeah, so whoever that was. But remember, Wisconsin's so Wisconsin to the point that it was like, hey, we lost our coach. Who's going to be our interim? And Barry Alvarez from the crypt is like, I'll coach the team. Dude, Barry, take a fucking seat, my man.
But sorry, did they win the Rose Bowl with Barry?
Yeah, they did. Which really sucked because Barry is there on a pacemaker and can barely eat solid foods, and he's got Wisconsin winning the Rose Bowl.
He's done that twice, bro.
I know.
That twice. He came back. It was Gary Anderson, by the way. Gary Anderson was there.
Who?
Yeah.
Who?
Boise State. When he got fired, he went to Utah State.
Okay.
God, but I can't remember where he was at. Was he at Oregon State? Yeah, he was at Oregon State. Yeah, and they hired him, and everybody was like, "What?
Who is this?" Well, I don't remember.
No,
I could be wrong.
I got that backwards. He was at Utah State, and he left Wisconsin. He left Wisconsin after being in the Big Ten championship to go to Oregon State. And I believe the rumor was that he couldn't handle Barry Alvarez breathing down his neck.
Yeah. Barry.
I think that's
Barry telling them, hey, back when I was here with Ron Dane, this is how we used to do it. That's great, old man. Go sit in the corner. No disrespect. He was at Barry.
Utah State when they had that running back. Do you remember the running back that the Seahawks had from Utah State? Robert Turbin.
Robert Turbin with the big ass arms. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, Robert Turbin was the dude. That was Gary Anderson's team.
Okay, yeah. And no disrespect to Barry Alvarez, also a longtime listener of Around the Gridiron podcast.
And he is a legend. It is hard to, you know what I mean? It'd be like if Woody Hayes was alive. You don't think he'd be in Ryan Day's ear. Sometimes you just.
Yeah, I'm just having fun. It's fun to make fun of old people sometimes, It's all love. I mean, Barry Alvarez is one of the greatest. I think he really put Wisconsin on the map and built that program. So again, it's really tough to be in that spot. I feel the same way about Oklahoma. I mean, Bob Stoops is always just lingering in the shadows, right, of talking about the program.
I thought he loved his life post-retirement.
Dude, as soon as Lincoln Riley left, he was he stepped right up and was like, Oklahoma's going to be Oklahoma. We're going to be fine. We're going to whatever. I'm going to bring in Brent Venables to be the coach, even though I didn't want to promote him to D coordinator when he worked for me. But hey, different story. Again, don't want to burn any bridges here.
Burn any bridges. Yeah, because that Mark Stoops bridge, we don't want to.
Dude,
Mark Stoops. Where to cross.
We're jumping all over because it's a fun Thursday. Bob Stoops, great guy, owns 2 really big houses in Chicago where I'm from, so shout out to him
I didn't know that.
backing the Chicago real estate market. Very much appreciated, Bob. But Mark Stoops, being born in Kentucky and being a Kentucky fan, uh, a closeted Kentucky football fan. Once they won 10 games, I let everybody know. I've been riding with this team
I've seen
for a
that.
long time.
I've seen
Yeah,
that from you. Very ugly.
that's yeah.
Very
I
ugly.
mean,
When
look,
Jared Lorenzen was playing,
I was a big fan of the hefty
Georgia-
lefty. There was just no Twitter back then, but I loved him in the mesh with the number 22. Never seen a quarterback wear 22. Never
Oh
seen a
yeah,
quarterback like 300 pounds just slinging it. Loved everything
who's
about Jared Lorenzen. Loved Andre Woodson, who was another great quarterback that came behind him.
Joker
Uh,
Phillips?
yeah, and I remember Andre Woodson and Stevie Johnson, and the combination they had, and I remember Wesley Woodyard on the defense. I mean, nobody's here to hear me go down memory lane with the Cats, but I will say this: people talking about building Mark Stoops a statue for winning the Citrus Bowl and beating Iowa need to get checked, right? Like I don't know what it is, that whether it's like long COVID or whether it's a brain injury. Something has happened to people that has ruined their brain, because
Yeah.
giving this guy a statue for winning the Citrus Bowl, he's never won the SEC East. He's
No,
never even made it to a SEC conference championship
no.
game. He's never beat Georgia. He beat Florida, but I think we're starting to realize Florida's probably not as good as we thought,
They've been
right?
bad since he's been there. Now
He
he may
just
be a
lost
part of that because he's recruiting better than they are. But I mean, Florida has been bad since they've been there.
He just lost to Ole Miss. So
Yeah.
look, I like Mark Stoops. He's the all-time winningest coach in Kentucky history with 60 wins. So hey, power to him, dude. But let's just keep we can draw up the statue, right? Call whoever, an architect, get us the 3D rendering, start a fund, let's get the money together. But before we break ground, this guy needs to win a little bit more. That's all I'm saying.
Dude,
And
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
it's wild.
And now they started out. It's so funny how college football works too, because they start out as this cute up and coming team, and now they've evolved to like Kentucky's like I'll see them ranked. Some people say, oh, they should be a top 10 team, and I'll be like, dude, what the hell's going on? Now they're overrated. You know what I mean? It's like what you were talking about the Tariq Wooten from UTSA.
Yeah, Woolen,
like, oh man, this guy's really good. He should be a third rounder, and now you're seeing him marked in the first round. You're like, wait a second, we got to slow down.
That blew my mind. That blew my mind. Yeah, that's a throwback to an old episode. But yeah, I was shouting out Tariq Woolen. Big fan, had a pick 6, I think, last week. And I was saying,
which,
hey,
by the way, my buddy who's a professional Madden player, I hope he will listen to this. He texted me a week ago. He goes, "Who the fuck is Tariq Woolen?" And I died because I guess he's the best Madden player in the world. I guess if you actually control him, because he's like
unreal.
6'6" and he's like 9. He's got like a 99 speed or something. So I guess dudes control him and he showed me a screenshot where he's like up for the NFL MVP in his Madden league with other like professional Madden players.
With Tariq Woolen.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny in a couple of ways, because one, when I was saying, hey man, Tariq Woolen, this guy's fucking badass, and everything you like about Kyle Hamilton, this kid's got all the same physical traits. He's actually faster, right? And he plays corner, which is a much more valuable position than safety. And you can get him for cheap. And some guy, I won't say who, runs a page that's just like an aggregator Twitter page, came over the top on me and got all his followers to start trying to dunk me. Like, it's not Madden, Nate. Like, learn the game. And so it makes me so happy that not only is Tariq Woolen good in real life, but that in Madden, he is the greatest player that anyone has ever seen. Like that. I mean, that's just winning on multiple levels. So,
Yeah, dude, swear to God.
I try not to take victory laps and be like this asshole guy, but like sometimes, man, people on Twitter they bring out the worst in you because they're always trying to just get at you, and I don't get it.
It's so bad. I get so many people that say shit like, "Will call me, retarded or this or that,"
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll forget like what the conversation's about, and I'll be watching football one day, and I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I remember." Like I think it was like somebody was telling me at the time. It was like Kaling was the tight end from San Diego State. He was like 6'5" and 240 and ran like a 4.4, but he sucked. Like San Diego State didn't throw him the ball. He wasn't even the leading tight end.
He's a workout warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, he's not good. Irv Smith is the dude. In this class. And Irv Smith is still in the NFL. The other guy's not even in the NFL. Irv Smith starts for the Vikings. I'm like, oh yeah. I thought about that the other day. I'm like, dude, some guy called me retarded over that.
Yeah.
Because I had Irv Smith ranked ahead of him.
Yeah, retarded, which, I don't know if we're allowed to say that word anymore given
it was a quote. It was a quote.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Quote,
exact
unquote, retarded. But people come off the top rope like, oh, you're a dumbass. Oh, you're an idiot. Like, do you know? And I'm just like, well, hello there, sir. Nice to meet you too. Like, you know what I mean? It just, people on Twitter, I don't know who raised you. You guys have no manners. You have no idea how to engage in polite conversation. Yeah, and for the ones who do, I thank you. You're great. And keep it up. I enjoy talking to you on Twitter.
But yeah, because that happens too.
Fuck off.
It is weird too, because it's always with football too. It's very subjective, right? It's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? It takes 11 guys to win, 11 guys to lose. Who's to say that guy from San Diego State sucks because he sucks or sucks because he got hurt or bad decision? I don't know. I didn't follow that guy's career. He didn't be under a microscope. Maybe I was wrong, but the guy was so hardcore about it and like sending me like analytic sheets about the historical. And it's like, dude, let's just chill.
Give me a break.
But there are some guys, like I wrote an article the other day about, it was a couple weeks ago now, with the J.J. McCarthy train was kind of going off the rails for Michigan, right?
Yep.
With how everybody just thinks he's the next coming of, I don't know, Harbaugh himself, I guess.
Yeah.
But I wrote an article saying I don't think he's that great. He's beating the shit out of Connecticut and Colorado State. I'm okay. And some Michigan fan goes, well, I politely disagree. We'll see in November. And I'm like, God damn. I gave him a follow.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good guy. Yeah, shout out to him. That's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. No, for sure. And I mean, look,
I politely disagree. I'm like,
the bar's so low in Michigan. I mean, you talk about quarterback play. Like, again, this is where I'm gonna do the thing that's probably annoying, but like, what are we talking about? Tate Forcier, Devin Gardner, Shoelace. I mean, none of these guys were good. You know what I mean?
No, quit. Denard Robinson wasn't good, but Tate Forcier and Devin Gardner were like abysmal. Those guys were. Devin Gardner had like
Wilson Speed. I mean, dude, we're just talking about bums.
Yeah, dude. But
who's the kid that transferred and now he's in the he was in the AAF. Who was their most recent quarterback? 5-star kid, total bust at Michigan.
There's so
many. Oh man.
I mean, because they have gotten good recruits. You said he was in the AAF?
Or USFL or whatever it was.
He transferred out of Michigan or to Michigan?
He ended up leaving. He came from Ole Miss. Shea Patterson.
Shea Patterson.
Another one. I mean, just like, dude, the list goes on of Michigan flops.
From Ole Miss to
Michigan and stunk it up big time.
He was not good.
And and then again, classic, like, oh, but he signed a contract with the Chiefs. Andy Reid's going to turn him into something. No. So Andy Reid turned him into a USFL player.
So I will say on the tier of Michigan quarterbacks that we're discussing in this conversation, Tate Forcier, Denard Robinson, Devin Gardner. Denard Robinson is by far the best one we've talked about, right? We both agree?
But I mean, Michigan hasn't had a good quarterback probably since John Navarre.
I'm just saying, Denard Robinson was better than John Navarre.
He didn't win more than John Navarre.
No, he did not. But he did not. Denard Robinson.
Talent-wise, yes. Talent-wise, yes. Mike Hunt, Shoelace was better than John Navarre, but like,
and then the next guy on the list,
Chad Henne. Chad Henne was probably better than
Chad Henne was probably better than both those guys.
Yeah,
Chad Henne was very good.
Chad Henne was probably the best quarterback they've had in a long time. So
that's probably accurate. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember. No high. And I'm sorry. Chad Henne is the one that had Mike Hart and Jake Long.
Yep, Mike Hart, Jake Long, Mario Manningham.
I remember Chad Henne being very good.
Mario Manningham was there. Then I think
he was the first Michigan quarterback. I believe he went 0-4 against Ohio State.
Did he?
I believe so, because Mike Hart did, right? In the same class.
All I remember about Mike Hart is that they gave him 40 carries. No.
Yeah, dude. No. For sure they had to have at one point, right?
I don't know if it – no. Maybe they did, but it wasn't Mike Hart. It was Chris Perry. They gave Chris Perry 40 carries in a game.
Oh, yeah.
And he ended up going to the Cincinnati Bengals. And for some reason – that was back when, being from the Midwest, you have your blinders on. And I'm thinking like, oh, this guy, Chris Perry, I watched him in Michigan. Like, he's going to tear it up.
Whoa, bro. I'm not going to have – I know I have his autograph around here somewhere. I'm not going to have any Chris Perry slander, dude. That dude was a straight baller, bro. Mike Hart, okay, when he got the ball nonstop, it was like, okay, he's just your standard 5'8", 220 running back.
Pounder, just bruiser.
Yeah, he just gets his 3 yards and gets out there. Very, very much who I would look up to. But Chris Perry was a bad dude, bro. He could catch the ball. He was fast. He was big. I mean, if you pull up a Chris Perry highlight tape, you're like,
Yeah. Oh,
dude,
yeah. Oh,
here's a
yeah.
lot
Yeah. Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Pull up. Yeah. Listeners, go pull up a Chris Perry highlight tape. And you will see 0 NFL snaps, all college snaps. Great college running back. Great college running back.
He was so good. But didn't he get hurt in the NFL too?
I think he got stuck behind Rudy Johnson and the other Johnson in Cincinnati. Who are the 2 Johnsons? It was Rudy and someone else.
I can't remember.
But yeah, the other 2 running backs. But I'm looking at the clock here, and we've done about 40 minutes. I want to pivot to football, NFL football. I want to talk about Justin Fields, man. And so right now, Justin Fields is getting hit with the dirty B word, the bust. And my biggest thing on him is I think Ohio State failed him. And what I mean by that is
you started hot, huh?
Yeah, he played in a check with me system, right? So a lot of times he was looking to the sideline to get the audibles, to get the plays. He never really had to learn how to read a defense. Also, like we said, talent-wise, he was on a team that was just so much better than everybody else, right? So he always had this advantage.
Fair.
Now he gets to the Bears, and the Bears are saying, hey, it's you and 6 homeless guys we picked up off the street. Can you go, win a game for us? And he's struggling because he's not used to guys not being wide open. I think, to be honest, that was part of where he struggled with Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson is not a guy who's going to get a lot of separation. Got him out of town. And he's struggling with it now. And if you look at the stats, I wrote about this in my article. NFL Next Gen Stats measure something that they call aggressive throws, which is what percentage of your throws do you make with a defender within 1 yard or less of the wide receiver. Justin Fields is dead last, only 4% of his throws. If you look at just not even all the other quarterbacks, just the quarterbacks in the NFC North.
I want to go back to that stat, though. What was that stat again?
Aggressiveness.
The dead last and attempted of those passes?
And attempted, yeah. So at 4%, only 4% of his throws are to guys in tight coverage, basically.
Isn't he dead last in attempted throws for like all starting quarterbacks, though?
Well, yeah, he's dead last in that too. But even when it comes to throwing it into like tight coverage, he's dead last. And so, so he's at 4%. And the thing I called out in my article was, let's ignore every other quarterback, but let's just look in the NFC North. So we're talking Jared Goff, we're talking Aaron Rodgers, and we're talking Kirk Cousins. If you take those guys, they throw it into tight coverage on average 14% of the time, right? So almost four times more than Justin Fields.
You're saying Kirk Cousins is that high, or it's just more than Justin Fields?
To surprise you, the guy that throws it into tight coverage the most is Jared Goff.
No, that doesn't surprise me at all. I've seen him play, and I've seen the interceptions he throws. That doesn't surprise me at all. But that's not a bad. It's not a bad thing. I don't want to pivot and shit on Jared Goff.
And my thing for Justin is, I think he's so used to seeing Olave and Wilson and Smith and Jigba just running free in the zone against these teams that now, right, he's got Equanimous St. Brown, Dante Pettis, Byron Pringle, these guys that are –
because Mooney's been hurt too.
Yeah, Mooney's been hurt, but they're NFL caliber players, but they're not stars, right? Like I think most people would say Olave and Wilson probably have a higher ceiling than any of the guys on the Bears roster right now at wide receiver.
I don't think the ceiling's even – I don't think it's even the ceiling. They're better receivers right now
than those guys.
Right now.
I'll give you that. So they're better today.
I mean, would you argue that?
I don't disagree. I also don't think Darnell Mooney's a wide receiver one, and that was a lot of the talk in the offseason. But, dude, I'll come back to that because there's –
And I was a big fan. Mooney was my Wooten at Tulane. Okay. I was a Mooney dude. But he's not number one.
I like Mooney, and I'm going to come back to that in a second because I got another one of these. Guy on Twitter said some shit to me, and I haven't forgot it.
Grudges, bro.
Yeah, dude. I try not to, but it's so hard.
It's so hard because people go hard. That's
they
why.
do. They come way too aggressive, man, and nobody gives you that polite. I disagree. I'll see you in November. I would love that. Come back to me in November. But so Fields, he's struggling, and I think he's so used to seeing guys open. He's never had to throw with anticipation. He's never had to throw into tight windows, and he's struggling. And people are putting the bust label on him quick, and he's not used to it. You can see in the media, even, he made the comment, "Oh, the fans don't care as much as us." He had to backtrack on that. Somebody
Yeah.
asked him, "Hey, why isn't the passing game working?" And he said, "Who says it's not working?" And then the reporter says, "Well, the stats." And he's like, "Stats don't matter." So you can start to see, man, he's coming a bit unglued, and he's not that very like political, well put together Ohio State guy when we first got him. And so, what do you think he could do to get better, or why do you think he's struggling
It's
so
not
much?
him. First of all, when you and I had a conversation when they hired Eberflus, that if Justin Fields, I said if Justin Fields is a bust, it's because they hired a defensive focus coach.
Yep.
Okay. But besides the point, I don't think he's a bust. I think that the offense is weird. They don't let him loose at all. The tight coverage passing stat doesn't surprise me at all. If you're only allowed to throw the ball 3 times, you're going to be more careful with those 3 times, right? That's kind of how I feel. I mean, and Fields isn't the only one suffering. Cole Kmet is a good tight end. That guy's a good tight end. And the analytics, the statistics show that. The dude, Darnell Mooney, we can have arguments and conversations about why the many ways he isn't or is. Cole Kmet is a number 1 tight end. Everybody in the world agreed with that when he came out of Notre Dame. Yeah. And everyone agreed with that 2 months ago when they were doing the fantasy drafts. You know what I mean? And they're not, and it's hard to manufacture touches for a tight end, but it's something you can do. I mean, the Browns do it. They ran a goddamn tight end reverse with Njoku last week. You know what I mean? Like, you can't feel Kmet, but you get my point. Like,
he's very much a Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski caliber.
Yes, I think he's physically, more than those guys, right?
Physically, he has that skill set. I mean, talent-wise, you look at if you watch college football, everything you see Michael Mayer doing for Notre Dame right now, Cole Kmet used to be that guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And so it's very weird.
There may be
a touch better.
No, maybe not. They might be on the same level, dude. They might. I don't think Mayer is even better. I sometimes get that recency bias, especially when I saw Mayer smoke Ohio State. But Cole Kmet had days, bro. I mean, he had games, bro. And they're not doing anything. That passing offense is vanilla. The offense is vanilla. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of what I was talking to my buddy with the Colts, and he's like, "Oh, Matt Ryan sucks. Matt Ryan sucks." Yeah, but it's one thing to suck, but then it's one thing to have your specific struggle that's come out of nowhere, right? And Matt Ryan, it's not come out because Matt Ryan is 90 years old. That's where he's coming from. But to have that struggle and then for it to be just exploited because you're not doing it. Michael Pittman had less receptions than Alec Pierce. Whatever, I'm getting off topic, but you can just see it doesn't take much to see when an offense it's not being utilized correctly.
It's just bad strategy. It's bad strategy. And I talked about this about the Bears too. Again, in my most recent piece, if you look at the stats, on average, they're facing like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7.5, and they're only picking up 6 yards on that too. But even if before you get there, if you're facing 3rd and 8, that means your first 2 plays, you're only getting 2 yards.
Yeah.
Right? First down, second down, you're only getting 2 yards, and now you're in 3rd and 8. And let me guess, Justin Fields is going to throw it. Everybody knows it. So now he's got to drop back and throw it, and he's running this vanilla BS. It just makes it so easy for defenses to play. Yeah, I don't think they're helping him out, but I do think
not at all. And then
I do think in today's age, though, the clock's ticking, and he could get labeled a bust and be holding the clipboard for the rest of his career very soon.
And that might be and unfortunately, it might not just be even the NFL, like, oh, will they rush the clock? That might, he's coming unraveled. If he's getting frustrated.
Yep.
You can only take so goddamn much, right? So eventually that's what happens. It's when you lose your swagger, when you lose your confidence, because when you're playing at that high of a level, the difference between Justin Fields and the difference in Cooper Rush, it's big, but it's not so big to where if Cooper Rush has a good day and it has a penny in his loafer, he can't outplay. You know what I mean? We're seeing it now. You know what I mean? Like it's so confidence and swagger is such a big deal.
It matters.
Ohio State fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Denzel Burke. Talk about a guy who was a freshman All-American last year. He can't guard a 5'8", 160-pound wide receiver from Arkansas State. Why? Because there's something mentally wrong.
Yeah, once that mental thing happens, I agree with you. I mean, once that breaks, guys are down. They're down bad, and I worry about that for Fields because I feel like we're watching him unravel, and I feel like there's sharks in the water, right? Like people are swarming. But I laugh. I saw a clip. So I come back to the Fields question, right? Somebody said, why are you struggling in the passing game? And he's like, well, why do you say that? But ultimately, my point is like, what does the media really know? And so somebody asked Baker, hey, how do you fix all these tip balls that you have going on? And he said, hey, if you guys know a drill I can do, like, let me know. Right? Like, it's just like
Baker said that?
Baker Mayfield, yeah, to the media. And I liked it a lot because it's just like, yeah, I mean, what are you guys asking me, right? Like, I'm an undersized guy. I'm barely 6 foot. I'm throwing in the pocket. Balls are gonna get tipped. I can try to roll out. I can try to do whatever. So just sometimes, I think you ask these players these questions, and it's a lose-lose situation, right? Like, so if you ask Justin Fields, why can't the offense get going? He can't come out and say, oh, because they're running vanilla and they're not letting me do anything, right? You're throwing your coach under the bus. And you
Yeah.
can't come out and be like Sam Darnold and say, oh, I'm seeing ghosts, because now they'll run that all day, every day, and you'll look like a scrub. So really, you're
In the
set
heat
up
of
to fail. You can't answer that
Well, that's
well.
why I don't like those press conferences, man. They're uncomfortable. They're unnecessary. The players don't like them. I mean, sometimes they're fun. Like, if you're asking a dude what music you listen to,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
shit like that, it's cool. But when you're asking a dude after a loss, I mean, after a win, it's not, because you can focus on the win and the good. What were you thinking when you got that hit or the sack? And that's
Yeah.
kind of, like when Jack Sawyer got his first sack after the game, like, yeah, that was your first sack. He goes, what didn't even count it? Yeah, that's kind of cool. But when you do after a loss, you're like, why do you suck?
Yeah.
What are you thinking after you suck? Did you swallow? It's like, dude, it's too much.
Why are you the worst player that we've ever seen in the last 5 years? Can you tell us why you're so bad at football? We don't understand. It's like,
Justin, have you heard of Demarcus Russell?
yeah. Hey, so when you missed that tackle that ended up being the game-winning score, what was going through your head? How'd that feel? Shitty. Next question. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
like
I just,
what do you think you're gonna get out of that? You know what I mean? And
I'm
what do you
just,
think his response is gonna be?
yeah. And I know these guys have deadline and they got to put something out, but it's like, dude, whatever quote you're looking for in that moment isn't going to make your story pop anymore. We all know
Right.
who blew it
Now
and who didn't.
Baker's different. If you're asking a guy like Baker Mayfield or Aaron Rodgers, I mean, those guys have been in the league long enough to where they should be able to. But Justin Fields is still behind the podium shaking, like, I don't know what to say. My
Dude,
life sucks.
yo, dude, yeah. I had the tweet. I'm like, damn, Justin Fields is looking around like I played with more NFL wide receivers in college than I did
Dude, for
on
sure.
the Bears.
And that's not even a joke.
But when he first got here, I was kind of laughing. The fans were eating it up, but he was giving all those like college politician answers. He's like, we're gonna beat the Packers, we're gonna this, we're gonna that, we're gonna be so dominant. And everyone's like, rah, rah, getting all excited. And I'm like, brother, you're writing way too big of checks. You have
Dude.
no idea what you're walking
And
into.
it's really bad. A guy like him too, and a lot of those Ohio State quarterbacks. Joe Burrow was the same way. They ride so high on that momentum and that swagger. I mean, you could go watch videos where Ohio State's losing and Justin Fields just boom, bro, stoic, just ready to roll, dude.
Yeah.
Comes out, you know what I mean? Like they're the last rah guy that was like, that would kind of ebbed and flowed. Like Baker Mayfield kind of ebbs and flows a little bit, right?
Yep.
But I mean, I think just when you chip away at Justin Fields' confidence, I don't think it's coming back. You know what I mean? Like
I don't
think
either. And at least not here. I don't think it
he's
is.
never had to deal with it, dude. He's never had to deal with it, right? You know what I mean?
And he made that comment. He's like, I've never lost this much in my career. And I think it's more than just the losing. I think it's the people piling on. It's the people
Yeah,
not
you
willing to
can't get away
accept.
from it. There's no break, dude.
Yeah, it's the people not willing to accept that, like, he's playing with scrubs, like flat out scrubs. And again, no disrespect to the Bears wide receivers. You guys are all
No,
NFL
you
caliber
go look at the
players.
Jaguars. Go look at the Trevor Lawrence. I mean, you can see when Trevor Lawrence is getting sacked or throwing picks. There were moments last year where you're like, dude, is this the guy? I mean, the
Right.
buzzword was getting thrown around, not a lot, but enough to where it was like, dude, are you guys serious right now?
Yeah.
And they went out and they signed a shit ton. They went out and they got talent for that guy. And then when they went out, they even upgraded their running back. They got Travis Etienne, who catches the ball. Now, are they using him a lot? No, because of the injury. James Robinson, yeah. But like the Bears, they even doubled down on their running back style. We're gonna get this dude that just is a bowling ball right up the middle, Khalil Herbert.
So
you don't even
weird.
have like Neem Hines or because Tariq Cohen's hurt again, right?
He's gone. They cut him. Yeah, they cut him. But I mean, to your point, it's funny, right? Like everyone's like, "Oh, I can't wait for Daz Newsome to pop this year." He ends up getting cut. It's like Daz Newsome, the 6th round pick out of North Carolina. That's who's gonna pop. Like that's who's gonna be our guy. Darnell Mooney, the
Then
fifth
but
round
why
wide
did they
receiver.
cut him? Why did they cut him though?
Yes, he had a couple fumbles on punts. I think he fumbled a couple punt returns, and
Do you guys?
he's at the bottom of the roster anyways, man. I mean,
I'm
this guy,
shocked by that. He's not
he
better than. I mean, the Bears wide receivers are.
I think he's as bad as
He's
Dante
young
Pettis. I
too.
think he's just as bad as like. But again, it's a new staff. They want to go bring their people in. We're creeping up on an hour. Maybe we'll go an hour and a half here. I like how we're.
We can shut it down, dude, if you want.
No. Let's keep going. We're having fun. So I'll touch
Griffin.
on the Mooney thing. So Mooney, man, and I might have told you this. The Mooney train was so high, and I just had a similar conversation. Someone was like, "Man, remember when the Cardinals took Andy Isabella and I forget who else was on the board? I'll have to look that up, but let me look now." They're like,
Dude,
"Remember
Andy
we took Andy
Isabella.
Isabella and these
Oh my
other guys
God.
were on the board?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, but that Andy Isabella train was running hot." And he's like, "Yeah, it was right." So Andy Isabella went second round of the 2019 draft. Pick 62. Let's see who
Dude,
went after Isabella.
Andy Isabella was
DK Metcalf
so.
goes 2 picks later.
Dude, Andy Isabella was so no, yeah, that was a mistake. I think everybody saw that mistake coming.
And
But
then Deontay Johnson goes 4 picks later. Terry
well,
McLaurin goes like 10 picks later.
so the DK Metcalf was unacceptable because everybody knew DK Metcalf was special. But Andy Isabella was a better college prospect for sure
Oh,
than Terry
dude,
McLaurin.
Hakeem Butler. I thought he was going to be a stud. He hasn't done a
Well,
thing.
but Deontay Johnson was he was never the number one wide receiver at Toledo, dude. I don't think
Yeah.
he would ever led the Toledo in receiving yards.
Oh man, we're gonna go down he didn't. We're gonna go down a hole here. I'm
And,
seeing
and Andy Isabella tore up Georgia. He
Bryce
tore
Love.
up Georgia when he was the only one there. He was the only one there. And Terry McLaurin was never the leading wide receiver at Ohio State.
Hunter
He was like,
Renfro goes 3 rounds later. No, look, I hear you. McLaurin was never the
he didn't
guy
catch
that
his
he is
first
right now.
touchdown pass at Ohio State till his junior year.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
McLaurin was very much a grinder. I mean, he came on the scene. And again, we can talk Ohio State receivers, but what's the guy's name? Paris something?
Paris Campbell, yeah.
I thought he was going to be the guy, and he has not done anything.
He got hurt like 8 times.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything in Indy. I thought he was going to be the guy. But excuse me, Mooney. So Mooney train's running hot, right? It's running Andy Isabella hot. He had 1,000 yards. Everybody's talking this guy's wide receiver 1. I'm like, I'll believe it when I see it, right? I'll see you in November. I'm keeping it polite. Guys are coming at me left and right. Oh, you're just a hater. You're a hater. I'll see you in November, right? Then a dude comes out and tells me Darnell Mooney is just like Stephon Diggs.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, okay, play this out for me. How is he like Stephon Diggs? Oh, well, they both went in the 5th round. They both went to a small school, yada, yada, yada.
He's not a small school, man.
And I was like, dude, Diggs was the number 2 wide receiver in his class coming out of high school. He's a 5-star recruit. And he's like, oh, high school ratings don't matter. Like, look at what he did in college. I'm like, well, he got hurt, right, at Maryland. He broke his ankle. He got hurt a couple of years. And he's like, yeah, but he went to Maryland. I'm like, well, okay, I hear you. Maryland is a small school relative in football, but it's a lot bigger than Tulane, right? Like Tulane in the Conference USA and Maryland in the ACC are 2 totally different programs. And I'm like,
Maryland was in the Big Ten at that point, right?
When Diggs was there?
For sure.
Okay, let's say they're in the Big Ten.
Yeah, because Ohio State was recruiting Stephon Diggs. And
well, that was my point too. And I was like, Diggs didn't play at Maryland because it was the best place he could go. Mooney went to Tulane because that was the best school he could get into. I'm like, Diggs gave Maryland a hometown deal. He had an offer to Bama. He had an offer to Ohio State. He had big-time offers.
Well, Randy Edsall was pulling the old – from my understanding, Randy Edsall was pulling the old paper bag trick.
Yeah, I don't want to comment on that too much and things that have gone on, but there are some coaches that are really good at recruiting Maryland that were at Maryland at the time and helped get Diggs and then helped get his brother to Alabama later. What they did to do that, I do not know, and I don't want to speculate. But they did it, and they got a stud. So it just cracked me up. I'm going back and forth with this guy. Mooney is Diggs, and I'm just like, okay, man. It's what, 4 games into the season this year, and Mooney's got less than 100 yards receiving. Maybe he just cleared 100 yards receiving. He ain't Stephon Diggs, okay? Like we can put that to bed now. We don't need to wait until November. It is October the 6th, and Darnell Mooney is not Stephon Diggs. Let's just reiterate that.
Now, the offense isn't doing him any favor. It's his lack of production, his fault. Not all of his fault, but you're right. I mean, your point is still valid, but
Diggs is a bona fide wide receiver one. You put Diggs on any team,
for sure.
He's turning that offense around. You put Mooney on any team, he's not. Look, I mean, he's not turning this offense around. He's the guy next to the guy, which there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
you just have to recognize where you are.
Yeah.
But the Bears fans are a bit delusional. What else do we want to talk about NFL wise? What do you think about Buffalo? Really heavy favorite coming into this year. Feels like they're really banged up right now. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to hang in there and win. And before I turn it over, one of the biggest things that bugs me about Buffalo still is their leading running back, their best running back, is Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I don't know how you win like that. So what do you think about them?
I mean, I think that they were my preseason Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah,
sure.
I think a lot of people.
Have I changed that thought? No, I guess not. No, I don't think so. I mean, they do what they do. I don't know if it's because Josh Allen is their leading rusher, but I think that's. I mean, they got kind of a three-headed. I don't want to say monster, but three-headed. I don't know, inconvenience in the backfield between Devin Singletary and the new rookie James Cook, and then who hasn't played because he fumbles all the time, and then who's that third guy? I keep forgetting.
Singletary.
No, I said him. Is there another Singletary? Cook?
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss. He's kind of the odd man out. He's getting pushed out.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys aren't bad. There's a lot of worse NFL running back rooms. But yeah, I don't know if I have any concerns. I mean, I don't know. It's just the NFL. Yes, the NFL's. I mean, it's kind of like college football where it feels like there's a lot of parity going on. I mean, would you have ever guessed that the Dolphins and the Eagles were going to be the last unranked teams?
No,
or the last undefeated teams. The Eagles are still undefeated.
No, and this is where the NFL is really so much different than college football, because, and I kept trying to explain this to Bears fans too, right? Teams are constantly adjusting and they're constantly looking at what you're doing. So it's really cool to see Philly come out of the gate hot, and it's really cool to see Miami come out of the gate hot. But you start to wonder, right? Almost like Luke Getsy running it too vanilla. Is Mike McDaniel, and I don't know who the OC is, so I'll just say Nick Sirianni, are these guys showing too much of their hand, right? Too early.
That's a real fear, for sure.
Yeah.
You're 100% right.
And defenses now know, okay, this is what these guys are going to run, and now the back half of the season gets so much more difficult. You know, if that happens, that'll really suck, because I like Jalen Hurts. I like his story. I like what they're doing, and I want to see him succeed.
Preseason, ask Donovan. We were talking about, because I drafted Jalen Hurts probably higher than I should have in one of our fantasy drafts. He's like, "Oh, you really like Hurts?" And I said, I told him, I said, "I'm telling you, by the end of the season, Jalen Hurts will be a consensus top 10 quarterback." And he goes,
"Dude, he's a killer."
I liked him.
I follow a lot of the guys over at Underdog Fantasy, and I did one of their like daily games, and I drafted Hurts, and it gives you a projection. I was projected to lose, and it was maybe it was a Thursday night game or a Sunday night game. He crushed it, dude. Like, he's running all over. He's throwing. Whatever they're doing in Philly right now, they have unlocked him, and they have him firing on all cylinders. And maybe it's putting Devontae and AJ around him along with.
Well, that's the thing. They've surrounded him. They did the exact opposite of what the Bears did. They found a guy and they went all in on him. And there's no way, you can't tell me that they had the faith in Jalen Hurts at the time, because they drafted him in like the second round.
Yeah.
They didn't let him play at all his rookie year. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me that they had the confidence, and there was something struck, and they were like, "Okay, this is the dude." Push all the chips in. And the Bears haven't done that.
I mean, just like Fields, he's got all the intangibles. You can tell, like, he's a great leader, great locker room guy. You know,
you have to, in today's NFL, because you have such a small window, especially with how giant these contracts are and how easily everybody gets hurt, because the season is 85 games now.
Way too long.
You have to put it is. It's way too long. And it's making the NFL worse. It's making it more unbearable. Everybody talks about, these hit. Oh my God, Tua, this concussion. Oh, and that's terrible. It really is. But you know what else is terrible? Saquon Barkley not being able to complete a goddamn season. That's
Yeah.
also pretty
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
No one ever talks
Oh,
about
dude,
why.
I Jon Snow, single guy standing out in front of a
Dude,
stampeding army on that when I was telling people, like, "You see Tua hit," and, it was my wording.
and
I
that
said
was
bump his
bad.
head.
That's bad.
It
He
was
should have been out.
bad,
He
but
should have been out.
to your point, guys are tearing ACLs, guys are dislocating
Dude.
knees, guys
And
are
they keep
breaking
making it
bones,
longer. They keep
and their
making the season
seasons are
longer
over.
and
Yeah.
extending and it's not guys aren't lasting in the NFL nearly as long as they were because of how long the season is. And it's making the sport more boring too.
Yeah,
Because
and
I don't want
Thursday night games
yeah,
are brutal.
dude,
Like,
it's
I mean,
it's not ideal.
we played at the college level, but imagine going from playing a game on Sunday to then turning around and playing another one on Thursday.
Dude, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. I don't understand it. And these NFL players, I don't understand the injury talk. The player safety bullshit, dude. You keep extending the season. There's no reason for it, and everybody focuses on the head injuries and I get that because
Yep.
it is bad.
Long-term effects. Yeah, long-term effects.
Tua should not have been playing. But dude, I mean, but J.K. Dobbins. Every year there's a dude that doesn't get to finish the season. You're making that season longer. It just doesn't. You could have such better football if everybody just dude. You got. I don't know. 16 games felt like an okay number. I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
well, I don't know.
Even that's probably too long to be honest with you. But let's say you keep it at 16. Let's say you short it to 10. Could you imagine how crazy? I mean, because then you are giving the ball to Saquon Barkley 40 times a game. You'd
see great games. I think you would see really great games.
Because you're draining it. You're draining the plate. You're emptying it. You're emptying it, bro. You're
17th. The 17th game was too much.
Yeah, man.
I don't think it was needed, but again, it becomes about money. And you're seeing these guys continue to break.
There's enough games to when you clinch the playoffs, you bench your start. Why would you want that? Why would you want enough games to where that's an option, right? That doesn't make any sense to me.
Because you got to preserve them. I think that's the other thing people miss, right? Is how physical the game really is. And so, again, you're probably not even ready Sunday to Sunday, right? That next Sunday, you're shooting up, you're taping up, you're doing whatever. So imagine going Sunday to Thursday, right? So okay, you play it out. Game's over Sunday. Monday's probably a rest day. Tuesday is probably a practice, right? Probably shells. And if you're hitting barely, Wednesday's walkthrough. Well, Tuesday, right? No, Tuesday would be shells.
I would think that Wednesday would be your practice and Thursday would be your walkthrough, right?
No, the game's on Thursday.
Oh, I don't know what they do.
Wednesday's got to be the walkthrough.
Yeah, you're right.
Or it's got to be travel. It's got to be a travel day.
You just don't hit it all that week.
Yeah. Or it's Sunday, Monday's a travel day, or Tuesday's your travel day, and Wednesday you walk through and there's no hitting, right? And then Thursday you just go into the game. Like for the team that's traveling, like what's the game tonight? Denver and the Colts, right? So,
which I bet on, by the way.
I hope you won.
I don't think I did. I think because I took the Colts getting 3.5, and when I jumped on here, they were losing by 6.
Oh, this game's still on. It's 6 to. Geez, this is what I mean. This is bad football. It's 6-9. Of course it is. These guys are gassed. But okay, so Denver's at home. So let me look at the Colts.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor's not playing. They signed Latavius Murray, but they played in London, so he doesn't have a dude. It doesn't make any sense.
Last week the Colts played the Titans. Okay, so they're at home. That game finishes up in Indy. You've got to be in Denver by Thursday. You probably get there the night before, right? You probably get there on Wednesday, just so you have time to practice and walk through. And it's Denver, so you've got to adjust to the altitude and everything else. So you might even get there on Tuesday. So that means Monday's a rest day, Tuesday's a travel. You touch down, maybe you practice when you're there, and then Wednesday's another walkthrough, Thursday's a game, and people wonder why it's 6-9. Like, dude, we just went to war, right? For 3 hours on Sunday. Now we're flying to Denver. We're playing a mile high with the thin air.
And I don't mind the score. I like low scoring games. I'm not watching this game, so I don't know.
I'm not either.
What the pace the game is going, but I don't mind watching games that are defensive focused 6-9. But the problem is that you got Jonathan Taylor sitting out. They signed a guy that can't play because it's such a short turnaround. Right, you got Matt Ryan, who's 40 years old, who's on a. It's just Javonte Williams just tore his ACL. The Broncos don't have enough time to put together an offensive game plan because they got a backup running back plan. It's not enough time. It's not. You got guys that are. You got Phil. You got who's the running back?
Philip
Lindsay's playing, and that dude came up from the crypt, bro. He shouldn't be playing.
Yeah.
It's
Philip Lindsay, the old fantasy guy that once had a good season. Everyone's like, this guy's gonna kill it. Man, look, the Thursday night game is a bullshit game. They should get rid of it. Cool, it's great socially, right? It's fun to get together with the bros and say, hey, let's sit around, let's watch football. But for the guys playing it,
too, though.
It's bad.
I mean, there's no college on right now, but there's typically college on during the week, right?
Yeah,
there's typically Mactions on Thursdays.
Tuesday night Maction. UCF was playing last night. I watched some of that.
I had money on that, yeah.
How'd you come out on that one?
I put the money in last Friday because that game was supposed to be on Saturday.
The hurricane moved it.
Yes, okay. Yes. I had money on UCF. I thought SMU was a little overrated.
Well, sounds like you were right.
That's right.
Dude, I think maybe we'll start to wind it down here. But I look at the NFL this year, and there is a ton of parity. I think you look at Tom Brady. I'm glad he came out and said his rotator cuff was sore because I was watching him throw, and I'm like, dude, there's something up. Like the zip was kind of missing. It looked like he was It looked like he was pushing the ball. You know what I mean? It didn't look like he was throwing it. And I'm like, is he just old? And then maybe he is. His arm might have lost some zip, and he's saying it's a rotator cuff, but he doesn't look the same. It's finally father time. Seems to be catching up to him. The Bucks are banged up.
I don't think it's going to happen like that for him because his play style doesn't take him zipping the ball. You know what I mean? He wasn't
dude, I'm not even talking about like darts. I'm talking about like
he looked
like bad.
Yeah. If his career's over, it'll be over. I think it'll be over by injury, but it's not going to be over like what happened. Like remember Mike Vick, where it was like, oh, this isn't Mike Vick at all.
Yeah, the arm goes. Yeah, once the arm's gone.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. I mean, Mike Vick was like slow and shit. It was like, dude, this isn't the same dude I watched. You know what I mean? Like Tom Brady. There was nothing outstanding about him physically. So I think when he falls to the wayside, it's probably going to be something like he tears something or does something he can't rehab. It's done. You know, what I mean? He's not going to age. He's not going to go down like that. I mean, because most of those start, like AJ Green, where it's like, what the hell's going on with AJ Green? You know, all of a sudden, just the guy's not fast. He's not strong. He doesn't the things that made him great. Tom Brady didn't like that. Tom Brady. Unless he gets hurt. I mean, right?
No, I hear you. I think it's his arm. I don't know that it's necessarily that it's going to go. I think he's just going to be injured, and that's going to be that. And
I think so too.
He's going to have to just wrap it up. But dude, this is a very interesting time in the NFL. I mean, we're 4 games through the season. There's a lot of parity. There's a lot of 2-2. There's a lot of 1-3. And you're just curious to see, like, how does this shake out once we get, another 4 games into the season? I've been trying to tell Bears fans, brace for the worst, right? Winter is coming. It's going to get worse before it gets better. But who's a team, if you had to think that right now has a losing record or a 500 record that's going to shake out and be okay?
Well, God, it's got to be the Bengals, right? Don't they still have a losing record?
Yep, I think so.
It's got to be the Bengals. I mean, they can't be this bad. They were just in the goddamn Super Bowl. They can't. I mean, they looked really good against the Jets. So I think maybe you saw part of the turnaround last week. So I think they're on their way. But,
Bengals are 2-2.
Those first couple of weeks, they were bad, dude. They were real bad.
Yeah, it's interesting to see them, be so bad.
They're investing all that money in the offensive line. It's very strange.
Yeah. So let's look. We got Raiders at 1-3. They just went out and got Devontae Adams. You got Broncos 2-2, Chargers 2-2.
I think Broncos could be 1-2 because Russell Wilson is still getting used to the offense. Russell Wilson, that's a good example, kind of like the Michael Vick thing. Russell Wilson's not the same Russell Wilson. You could tell he's older. He's not. Yeah. He don't move the same. So he's got to adjust his game. But like Tom Brady, he's a very intelligent player. So I think that he will figure out, like, okay, dude, I'm old. What do I got to do? You know what I mean? I can't hang on to the ball as long. I can't do this. I can't do that. I mean, I think you saw a glimpse of that last week I think he ran for a touchdown. It was wide open. He's been getting Judy involved and Sutton involved. I think he's figuring it out. And the play calling's weird too, so it's not all his fault. But I think as time goes on, he will be better. He will better figure out his strengths and weaknesses.
I agree. I think you're right. And I think he's got to figure it out, right? Like if he doesn't figure it out,
Done. If he doesn't figure it out, he's washed. Yeah.
It's over.
I mean, my psycho, I mean, you can see he does not look like the same Russell Wilson. It's not just the jersey that's changed, right? Like he is getting older. Like,
he's not the same. And just I really don't know what to make of him. It seems like he's falling apart. And some people joke, right? He took this contract on the way out, and that was
sure.
that. Oh, the Ravens signed Andy Isabella, huh? All right, we'll see what comes of that. Okay, so what about Raiders 1-3, Steelers 1-3? Titans 2-2.
The Steelers are going to suck, but they're going to be fun to watch.
I do think Kenny will sling it. Kenny loves to throw it.
Yeah, dude. George Pickens is good, dude. That guy is good, man.
He is. I like Pickens.
They're gonna
little head case, but I like Pickens.
They're gonna be bad. They're gonna have like 3 wins in the season, but they're gonna be against like the Chiefs and like you know what I mean. Like
they're gonna beat somebody they shouldn't. Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
What about some teams that right now might have a good record that you think are gonna fall off? So if I look, and these are some of my teams that I would throw out there. Jets are 2-2.
Oh man, you took a big risk on that one. Of course, dude.
Browns are 2-2. Jags are 2-2.
You think the Browns are going to fall off?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What are they going to fall off from? The little soap? I mean, they're not even on a pedestal.
They're just so they just I don't know, man. And it's funny because, goddamn, I don't know how this happened, but somehow my Twitter is just inundated with Browns fans. And I if you're listening, Browns fans, I love you. But you're some of the most annoying people on social media. Like I can't handle it. It's too much. And that's it. I wanted to gripe and get that off my chest. Like you guys drive me crazy on Sundays, seeing all your tweets and all of your complaints.
Very passionate.
Oh my God, the passion is there, but the annoying is also there. And I did not like that people blame Nick Chubb for that loss to the Jets. I couldn't wrap my head around that. And watching people say he should have went out of bounds or he should have.
That was a small minority that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, though. I think most Browns fans don't. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty.
But okay, Browns fans, you're tacky and I hate you. And move.
You're tacky and I hate you.
But all right, let's move to the NFC. Eagles 4-0, Vikings 3-1.
Well, so you're saying the Eagles are going to fall off?
No, I'm asking. So let's look at the top here. Eagles 4-0, Cowboys 3-1, Vikings Packers 3-1. Do these guys stay there?
Because they're undefeated.
Yeah, do they stay there? No, not even fall off. Like, do you think that this is how these things are going to shake out? Where Eagles are going to be best team in the NFC, best team in the NFC East.
God, I don't know.
I mean, okay, so here's the real threat right behind them. If you look right now, Cowboys are 3-1, Giants are 3-1, Commanders are 1-3. Do you see either of those 3 teams surpassing the Eagles? And we're assuming everybody stays healthy. And
I don't think the Cowboys are bad. I think Micah Parsons is a goddamn freak.
Yeah.
There's Trayvon Diggs. There's a lot of talent on that defense. Cooper Rush is not good, but he's not terrible. Like clearly he's not, right?
Right. Yeah.
There's enough talent on the offense for him to not be liability. Their biggest liability is Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
That massive contract keeps forcing them to give him the ball, and that dude does not want to run anymore.
He's lost a step, dude. 100%.
I don't know. Okay, sure. Let's say he has lost a step, which you're probably right. He probably has. I'm probably in denial because I'm biased. But it's not just that. It's that he doesn't run. His biggest asset was that he never stopped turning his legs. He was a very angry, aggressive runner. You know what I mean? It was just like I don't know, like a bull in china shop. I don't know how to describe it. He was very man, I'm trying to think of somebody. I mean, Ricky Williams was kind of like that, right? Where it was just like he just never stopped. A whole 8 people had to bring him down. He was never getting knocked back. He was when he gave him the ball, you knew you were getting 3 yards, and that's how Ezekiel Elliott was. And sometimes he would pop it. He gets like pushed back down. Like he'll have runs where he doesn't move forward. Like he'll have runs where he gets taken down by one guy. He doesn't run angry. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
I mean, am I making that up?
He's like I said, if he didn't lose a step, he's lost that extra grit, that he used to have,
Yeah, you know
the
what
whole
I mean?
feed me, I think even like this is just petty, but like now even when he's like feeding me, it's just like, oh, feed me. Before he's like, like he's mellow. He's just not the same guy. He's not the same guy.
Dude, he got that money and he is happy. I think that he would be, because there's still flashes of it. That first game, he had like 3 runs where it was like, you know what I mean? What's it, Little Giants, where he's like carrying like all the 10-year-old. You know what I'm talking? Yeah. He looks like that. He had like 3 runs. I was like, he's back, baby. You know what I mean? And then the next game, I was like, what the? He's gone. I traded him on my fantasy because he's still. I don't think he's old. I don't think he's slow. Like Russell Wilson is older, right? I don't think Tom Brady is older. Those guys have fallen off. I think Zeke is still physically the same Zeke. Maybe he has lost a step, but I don't know that for. I don't think that's his biggest issue. He has changed his running style, and that's not. You're
he's
not
lazy now.
It's just like he gets someone touches him. He's like, oh, I'm down. I'm gonna go down.
Yeah. Bro. Look again, Zeke. I'm sure you're listening. Don't take it offensive. You're very lazy now that you got the big payday, and I don't blame you because I would be the same way. I would be the exact same way. To bring it full circle, dude. To bring it full circle to Jimbo. I saw that buyout and I told someone like I would be trying to get fired. Like I can't lie. Like I would just like, why would I want to show up to work if I could be fired and have $95 million in my pocket? Like I'd be like, you know what? From here on out, we're running the Wildcat and we're gonna run the Wildcat with our fullback. You know what I mean? And
his offense might be better that way though.
Yeah. I'd be trying to screw up the team any way possible. I'd be telling kids like, hey, look, you should probably look at the transfer portal. Like you should probably get the fuck out of here. Oh, sorry. Cash me out.
That's such an odd situation, especially when he made a big state. Because he left. Rumor has it is he left Florida State because first of all, Florida State's facilities are not the greatest. Okay, they share all their stuff with like the other teams. Like if you're a women's basketball player at Ohio State and you go to the football weight room, you don't have a key. Like they're not even, and the security guard is not letting you in either. Like, you go over there. You go in that gym. You know what I mean? Florida State's not like that. They're sharing all that shit like with everybody else. So he complained about that a lot, and then he complained about how my understanding was that he was very upfront with like Alabama's got a bag man. I need a bag man. I guess the boosters at Florida State were like, no, that's not how we do things here.
Yeah.
Because Texas A&M's got the bag man, and they got all the, you know what I mean? And clearly they got the bag man because now that's legal. They're very upfront about it. You know what I mean? So he caused a pretty big stink when he left Florida State. So, I mean, even if that stuff isn't true, it's pretty.
No, you're right. I mean, I heard all the same things. All the same things.
You know what I mean? Like, even if that stuff's not true, he did still told Florida State to fuck off. You know what I mean? On his way out to Texas A&M. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think he's a good coach.
He raised a lot of money there too. And I think people took that for granted. He's a really great fundraiser. I think, and I mean, look at what he was able to do when he got to Texas A&M. He raised so much money right away. And even if he didn't necessarily raise the money, he got people to put money into the program.
Yeah. But I don't know if that was him or if that was necessarily the belief of what he could bring. Like they were putting.
But he's selling that. You know what I mean? He's selling that to these guys.
You're right. Yeah. It's his brand, if you will.
Yeah. I think he gets, there's certain coaches, man. Like, and this is sometimes I think this gets lost on people. There's certain coaches like a James Franklin that can recruit their ass off. Not the X's and O's guy, but he's bringing kids to Penn State that probably would never consider Penn State. And then
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Maybe before him, they had Larry Johnson, Kajana Carter, Kerry Collins.
But you remember what happened in between.
You
remember what happened? There was an HBO movie and a bunch of documentaries and books about what happened in between all those guys.
Yeah, and then after that, Bill O'Brien was there. And Bill O'Brien was
shit the bed. He shit the bed, and we all pretended like Christian Hackenberg was like the next superstar quarterback, and we kept trying, and I
Bill
know
O'Brien did not shit the bed.
Christian Hackenberg is in the podcast thing now too, and he's great at it. But dude, I was part of the team that kept pretending like he was going to be something, and he was never something. And then he got to the Jets, and we're like, oh, he's gonna and then finally it's like, all right, enough. Like we can't keep pretending like this guy's gonna be something and he's not.
He was a goddamn stud for the Memphis Express.
Dude, he had that 1 year. He had his one freshman year at Penn State, and people got all excited, and they're like, this kid's the future. This is the next, because he was big, he had the arm, he had the whatever. It just never put Connor Cook, right? It's Connor Cook all over again from Michigan State.
Well, Hackenberg was better than Cook.
Was he though?
Connor Cook was a dick, right? No, never voted team captain and shit. Like, wasn't that his bag? Christian Hackenberg, if I remember right, when he got there too, man,
dude, people are pissed about this Thursday night game. I guess it's so bad. And I have Russell Wilson in fantasy, so thanks for dicking me over, Russ.
I just traded. A couple days ago, someone traded me. They said they gave me Russell Wilson, Austin Eckler, and Bryce Hall for Jalen Hurts. And
you got rid of Jalen Hurts.
They gave me Bryce Hall and Austin Eckler. I'm like,
yeah.
and I'm getting Russell Wilson. He's still,
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, he's good enough. That's what I thought. He's good enough, and he's good enough to lose me a bunch of games, is what he is.
Screwed up, yeah.
Guy fucking blows. Sorry, Russ. Keep cooking, whatever the hell it is you're cooking out there. All right, let's start to wind down, and this was a lot of fun. We just kind of did this unscripted, just kind of running around the league, whatever we're thinking about. And we'll come back next week. Let's shoot for same time, Josh, and we'll do the same thing. Let's do some fun stuff on the way out. I'm just trying to like.
Did you watch? You thought non-football related?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Dahmer show on Netflix?
No, I have not. I'm usually not into that, but I will tell you, I'm also so sick of people on the internet being like, oh, I don't know, this mass murder is pretty hot. Like, I'm waiting, dude. I'm waiting for the damn Adolf Hitler documentary
where they cast like Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and people are like, oh, I don't know, Adolf could have got it. I know he killed 600,000 people, but I might have spread it for him. I'm so sick of that shit, dude.
It's Chris Pratt. My girlfriend's watching Chris Pratt play Hitler. Was Hitler hot? Was he that hot?
I hate it. No, he was not that hot. No, Dahmer was not hot.
There's a scene where he's like taking off his shirt and like kissing on dudes or whatever, and he see a six pack, whatever. And I'm like Googling, like, not so no one sees, like, was Dahmer ripped? Like,
Dahmer was fucking hitting CrossFit 6 days a week.
Yeah, dude, I had to fact check Dahmer's body. Like, don't make me do that.
Did Dahmer have lats, bro? Like, Dahmer's out here fucking. Oh my god, dude.
The most aggravating part, though, was you haven't seen it at all?
No, but you know what I watched that I think you told me to watch last time was The Staircase. Holy hell, was that a terrible show.
Did you watch the show or the documentary?
I watched the show, and then I saw there was a documentary. And then
I stopped watching for like 2 episodes.
And then in the show they mentioned that the guy shows up to do the documentary. I was just like, dude, what the hell is going on here?
So bad, dude. Did you get to the scene where he's eating her ass out for like 3 minutes? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, the show is bad.
Yeah, I did see that scene. Yes,
I saw that scene they were watching. I'm like, well, just hold on. I think it's gonna get better. These are all really good actors. We're gonna watch the documentary. We're gonna watch this, and then the next thing I know, he's on his knees just for like 4 minutes. I'm like, all right, we can turn it off now.
Like, dude, all right, let's. So a guy I follow, shout out to Scoob, Sexual Jumanji on Twitter. I think he goes by Most Crucified. Great guy. He's another underdog guy. Him and I go back and forth on so many of these HBO shows are just softcore porn, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's just sex. If the show's 45 minutes, a good 25 minutes is just sex.
I'm not a prude.
Yeah, me either. Me either.
But
But I'm
like,
just like, what am I watching?
It doesn't like okay, like the Dahmer thing when he's like banging dudes or whatever. I'm like, okay, you're trying to convey that he has some sexual animosity or what. I get it. I get what you're trying to go for. I don't think it was a little over the top, you know. It was, but I
Dahmer
get
was
it.
laying pipe, dude. Laying pipe.
But when they're showing, when he's eating that his wife's ass out, it came out of nowhere. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It was just like, what?
What does this have to do with her getting murdered? You know what I mean? Like,
the next scene is him pushing her down the stairs.
yeah.
And I'm like, what? What was you trying to do?
Dude, yeah, I know exactly the scene you're talking about in the kitchen. It's just like,
yeah, dude.
Why? Also, yeah, dude.
Weird,
dude, oh my God, yeah. Like, it's the same thing sometimes on Game of Thrones. It's like, I thought these people are supposed to be going to war. Why did I just watch them have sex for 15 minutes? Like, what? Like, what is going on?
I don't watch it because Justine can't wait for me. So she watches it. I'll be walking out there. So she watches the backstage stuff or whatever. They're interviewing.
All the commentary and whatnot.
Yeah. So you watch House of Dragons?
Yeah, I do.
So the chick, they're asking her like, oh, in the scene you're banging your cousin or your uncle or whatever.
Her uncle, yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I thought it was kind of a weird choice because he's supposed to be so much older than me.
Yeah,
yeah. They're like, yeah, but it's also your uncle. And she's like, oh, well, that's Game of Thrones. And I'm like, what did she just say? Like,
bro, all right, pause. Here's my other thing. Like, imagine being in that moment and being like, everyone's sitting around like ready to go to battle, and it's like, yo, where's our king? And it's like, oh, he's just out getting some. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be here in a couple minutes, like stinking and like fucking all disheveled, ready to go to battle. Like,
stinking and disheveled. Is that how you are post-sex?
No, but it's the Middle Ages, right? I mean, these people aren't bathing. I'm like, that just has to be the smelliest sex. And like then Jon Snow shows up like, hey guys, ready to
the smelliest sex.
Hey guys, ready to go take down the Lannisters? Like, no, man. Are you ready to take a bath? How about that?
Like, stuck in his teeth.
Yeah. Dude, you and her have been riding dragons all day. Like, I'm sure you're sweaty. Like, people bathe once a year here. And before we go into our big war where everybody dies, you guys are gonna go bang. There's no AC. It's the middle of summer. You're in this castle made out of bricks. I know it's hot as shit in there, man.
That would have been a way better ending to Game of Thrones. Is when the soldiers goes, no, fuck this. We've been banging her on dragons all goddamn day. I'm out here in the front lines wearing this hottest shit leather.
Oh yeah, fuck dude. You, man. I'm standing here in a metal suit all day. And we're late. We're late for the war, so you can get laid. That's thanks, Jon Snow. Thanks.
We all know you're related. We all know you're related.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I guess I'll go to battle for you. You're out here banging your niece or whatever it was. Like, huh? Yeah, dude. Game of Thrones, great stuff. But yeah, man, I do remember that scene in the staircase.
Yeah, dude.
Where
I was like, all right, nothing's happened.
Honestly, it was literally just like, hey, how about the weather? It was great. Nom, 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 nom. Just like right into her butt. Like, what is this, man? Like,
but it wasn't just the ass eating; it was the build up to it. Like, he's like kissing her on the nape of the neck.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's he? I'm like, oh, because that's what it looks like. It's just like it starts out like, oh, he's like, they're showing that
they're being romantic. Yeah, they're being romantic,
and then just
he goes straight into the butthole. Like, let me eat your butt. Dude, and like, again, I'm not prude, but I'm 31 years old. Spoiler to the listeners, I've had sex before. I know what sex looks like. I don't need to see it every episode of a 30-season show. Like, I know what sex looks like. Trust me, you don't have to show it to me for 30 minutes of an episode.
Have you ever watched Gigolos?
No. Dude. What is that?
Oh my God, dude. Gigolos, it was a show on Showtime.
No, dude, I have not. I'm not.
Me and Ryan Laird used to watch it.
Hell no.
These gigolos, it's supposed to be a reality show. It's about these gigolos in Vegas. They get hired.
I've seen it. Now that you say that, now that you say Vegas, I've seen it.
so
It
good.
because it was on like Netflix or something, and I was like, let me see what this is
Oh, dude,
about.
it's so good. It's so Nick Hawk, the dude's all tatted up. The one dude was in like Workaholics, I think.
Dude, the funniest thing about that show is it's like a bunch of bros, but then they also like start like getting very competitive with each other, and like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like guys.
Well, then they show they're like passionate side too, or like their soft sides. So, like the guy with like the long hair and it's like Jack, he's like knitting in the corner. And
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, that show.
it's making me
You know,
laugh.
another guilty pleasure of mine is it used to be 90 Day Fiance. I
Dude,
used to
love it.
be I used to love that show. Like I
Love it,
just
dude. So good. Justine knows a dude that's in the goddamn show. Do
no
you?
way.
Yeah. You remember the guy that came over from like India and married the really poor fat white woman that was older?
No.
She couldn't pay. She couldn't pay her
That sounds
electric.
like every episode.
I know. I know. She couldn't pay her electric bill because she flew him over here, and then he didn't. She didn't.
Oh.
She didn't tell him. So he's like, "You have no electric."
He shows up to her house like, "Why is it so dark?"
Yeah, dude. You don't remember that episode? It's like up your.
No, I gotta go back. I haven't watched
Oh,
it in a
dude.
while, but that is freaking hilarious.
But she knows the
Welcome
dude.
to
There's a
America. I've got no lights.
Yeah, yeah. There's a scene where he goes to the bar. They're fighting, so he goes to the bar to drink. Well, I guess she knows one of the dudes that's like in the background of the bar, and he told her that the camera crew came up and said, "Hey, can you just go talk to that dude?" And they're like, he's like, "Why?" And he's like, "You do it, you give me like $100." He's like, "Okay." So I guess he just went up to us and said, "Hey, man, you look sad, bro." That's how they filmed that whole scene.
Oh my
And
god.
I was like, but that's kind of cool because I'm like, oh, so that's kind of real, right? Like if you just went up to a stranger and said, "Hey, I'll give you $100 to go talk to that guy," like
Dude.
no script or nothing.
My god.
My boss at Nationwide knows a dude too. The chick went to church in Columbus, and then she said, "Nah, fuck you, mom and dad. I'm going to Africa or whatever it was." Because there's the other episode too where they go like it's like there's like 8 different versions of the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's versions where people from America go over to wherever they're trying to get laid too. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's what her deal was. Yeah,
I love
pretty
that now that
amazing.
I have this super fancy podcast set up, I can hear myself tweeting in the background. I'm tweeting about I just said the podcast has turned into Josh telling me about people he knows that were on 90 Days Fiance. Dude,
I don't know them. I know people that know them.
dude,
Well, dude, the craziest part is people get famous off that show. That like that Big Ed dude
they do.
he makes like 200 grand a year off of like cameos and shit.
Do you want to hear something funny? And this isn't funny because of their physical size, but just funny in general. The people from the show, Little People, Big World, the family of small people, they live in my community, and like we go to the local pool. Like, well, you pay for it, it's a private pool, but we go to the pool and they're there. And for a while, we were just like, oh, here's this family of small people. Didn't think anything of it, they're always running around having a
Well, there's
blast.
never no camera crew or nothing.
No, 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 no. They had already been on the show. This was later. And so
Oh.
I was at my other neighbor's house, and I'm like, "You ever seen that small family that's always at the pool?" And I'm like, "It's kind of funny, right? Because they're little people, but she drives like this big ass Suburban, and like climbs up into it. You know what I mean?" And they told me, "Yeah, they're famous. They were on Little People, Big World on TLC." And I was like, "No way!" And I go back and look, and I'll be damned, there they are. So yeah, dude, local celebrities living in my
Wow.
town, driving. I love the Suburban, so I wish I had one. Maybe I need to get on TLC, but
Well, it is the learning channel.
the Learning Channel.
I don't know what you're supposed to learn, but
You're supposed to learn that they're. I mean, this isn't a diss to the little people, but you're supposed to learn that there's a lot of weird shit going on out there.
well, yeah, because they had that other show too, like
My
Strange
Strange
Sex or whatever.
Addiction,
Yeah, dude.
My
I watched.
600 Pound Life.
Is that the one we talked about sex? Is it
Um,
Strange Addiction?
well,
Or
they're
is that
addicted to everything. Like I watched when the lady ate toilet paper. Like
that's just gotta be fake, right?
I thought so. There's a lot of it where I was just like, this can't be real. My 600 Pound Life that was on there. The show where the Amish people like go on their like Rumspringa, you know what I mean, and decide what.
Amazing.
And then
Amazing.
another show I used to watch on there all the time about gypsies. like the gypsies. And
Dude, you watch TLC all the time.
I used to watch the shit out of TLC, dude. Like
watching TLC.
that used to be my thing. It's just watching just straight. I was learning, I was just trying to broaden my horizon.
It's delirious. I was taking it all.
Yeah, knowledge. I was just building brain power.
Dude, I remember. I thought it was like Strange Sex or whatever. Maybe it was Strange Addiction. I don't know. But the guy had like a fetish where he liked to feel like he was small. So he would he would give women like $500 and build like Lego cities and have them just walk on the Lego cities. And then he would Photoshop himself in the Lego city going, ah. And like that was like his fetish. And it was like 30 minutes of him. I was flipping the channel, dude. And I was like, what is going on here, bro? It's amazing, dude. There's a bunch of good shit like that. Extreme Cheapskates.
Yeah, I remember Extreme Couponers or whatever it was called.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I want Spike TV to come back. Spike TV is where it's at, bro.
Remember Spike TV? They had that show like 90 Ways to Die or whatever.
Yeah, dude, it was the shit, bro.
Yeah, I used to love that.
Yeah, like you'd be like, how many? Do you remember? Was that the same show where they give you like facts, like how many chicken wings do you have to eat to die?
Yeah.
How many farts can you have? So just stupid shit.
Blue
like that.
Mountain State used to come on that channel.
Oh yeah, dude, that show was great. Or like, do you remember that terrible show, Ultimate Warrior, where like they would take like, what a Nazi defeat a Navajo.
Fight. Yeah.
They
would fight a lot.
Stupid, like who looked like terrible, like Xbox One graphics, just going at it, dude.
Yeah,
it was great.
Also, they had the show where people would like make the weapons, like what weapon wins in this fight. Like,
is that not the same thing?
I think it was part of it. Yeah,
dude. Bunch of good shit. Then they had like the trucker version of Pimp My Ride.
Yes. Ronnie, I know you're gonna edit a lot of this out. Keep some of it in because it is fucking hilarious. Don't cut it all out because the people need this. I'm reading on Twitter that the Broncos game was going to overtime 9-9, and fans are leaving the stadium. So
really,
yeah, it's just a bad game, is what I'm reading. So, Ronnie, the people need this. They need a little bit more than football. They need to know about.
They need to hear it, dude. They need to learn.
They need to know. Like, this is the new learning channel right here around the Gridiron. But look, let's look ahead to some of the games, and then maybe Ronnie can splice this into. I'm like, shit, we're only doing a week, and we didn't talk about any of the upcoming games.
So I already put money on. The only game I put money on 2 games: the Colts tonight, and then the Saints giving 5.5 to the Seahawks. So those are the 2 big games well, obviously I'm not watching this one, but I'm watching the Saints. Yeah, I was thinking about putting money on the Browns too, but I pushed out.
Dude, let's just do this. I want to do a quick run through of the games, and you tell me who's going to win or lose. And we'll even do tonight's game since it's going to OT. Colts Broncos. It's currently 9-9 going into OT.
I bet on the Colts. I think the Colts can win this. I think that the Colts are underrated. I don't think that they're that bad. They just have awkward play calling.
Okay. Lions Patriots. Who you got? Patriots at home.
I'm gonna go Patriots. I feel like Bailey Zappi's gonna get a groove. I really liked him at Western Kentucky. And Bill Belichick's a good coach. The Lions are kind of riding high though, so I'm a little scared. But I'm not gonna bet on it. But yeah, the Patriots, I guess, is where I lean.
Texans Jags. Jags are at home.
What's the spread of these games, dude?
Doesn't matter. Let's go straight up. We're just picking winners.
Texans, Jags. I'm taking Jags. Texans are pretty bad.
Steelers, Bills. Bills are at home. Steelers probably starting Kenny Pickett.
Bills.
Bears, Vikes. Vikes at home.
Vikings.
Ooh. Sorry, Bears fans. All right, here's a burner. Saints, Seahawks. Who you got there?
What I just said, taking the Saints.
Oh, yeah, you did. You said you're taking the points on that.
No, I'm giving the points. I'm giving 5.5. That's how much confidence I have, even if Winston's not playing. Chris Olave, he looks like he's playing on a different level. The defense looks decent.
Who's the quarterback for the Saints behind Winston?
Andy Dalton, baby.
Oh, okay. Well, Geno's completing 70% of his passes, so.
I saw that.
Eagles, Cardinals. Cardinals at home. Eagles 4-0. Okay, so Eagles to 5-0.
Cardinals are not good, dude. Cliff Kingsbury's in over his head. And that offense only works when they slap Tom Murray on the ass and say, go do what you want.
Yeah,
he can't play.
Go run around as much as you want and fucking Played
He can't.
backyard
He can't.
football.
I don't think it's his fault. It's just that whatever they're doing is not working for him.
I agree. Bengals Ravens. Ravens have choked away a couple of games. I heard something like the Ravens have only trailed in like 2 quarters of all the football games they've played, and yet they're 2-2.
I'm going to say Bengals because I think that they're finding their groove. They looked good last week. The problem with the Ravens is J.K. Dobbins looked good last week, and I think that he's getting healthy. He's going to explode one.
Yeah, okay. You live in Columbus, so we're just gonna keep it moving. John, dude. Speaking of, remember when I said I thought Master Teague was like out of the league, and somebody on Twitter came to me and was like running a Master Teague fan club on freaking Twitter and was like, actually, he just got drafted, and I'm like, oh my god, come on, Ohio State people, take it easy. Giants Packers at home. Who you got? 9:30 a.m. So that game must be overseas. Oh, you're frozen. Dude, you're frozen. All right, we lost Josh for a minute there. Are you
What
back?
happened?
You froze. Are you back now?
I'm back, I guess.
All right. We'll move on. I don't think you heard me shit on J.K. Dobbins and Master Teague.
No, I did not.
No,
J.K. Dobbins is good.
it's for the best. You know, people in
J.K.
Ohio,
Dobbins is good. J.K.
send
Dobbins
in
is
your hate mail, but please give us a 5-star review.
good. J.K. Dobbins gonna be a top 10 running back by the end of the season.
Okay.
Not Master Teague though.
Giants Packers at home, so to speak. It's a 9:30 game, so they must be playing in London. Who do you got?
Packers looks like they Aaron Rodgers looks like he found his groove with those young wide receivers. Dobbs look good. Christian Watson doesn't look good, but we know he's capable. So yeah, and then Daniel Jones is hurt, and that's kind of like half his game is running around. So
Yeah, he's much more athletic than people give him credit for.
Dude, what was it? It was Duke against I can't remember his last bowl game, his last game ever in college. If anybody watched that, everybody was making fun of the Giants picking him, but anybody who watched that bowl game, dude, he was phenomenal, man. I think he probably ran for like 50 yards and threw for like 300. Good dude. Has some tape.
I like DJ, and I worked with a girl that knew him. Actually, she knew the family. So she said nothing but good things about him. So good guy, quality guy. Wish him all the best if he doesn't end up being the quarterback there long term. Chargers Browns at home.
I'm thinking about putting money on the Browns, dude. The Chargers beat up. Joey Bosa's out for the season. Rashawn Slater's out for the season. Justin Herbert looked pretty damn healthy, but I don't know how much of that. I don't know. I don't know how healthy he really is. Austin Eckler, what he's doing, what he's producing, I don't think it's sustainable all by himself. Keenan Allen's coming back, so he should still be bumped and bruised pretty well. You know how it takes a while to come back. So I'm going with the Browns.
All right. Cleveland, you know how I feel about you. Falcons, Bucks at home, Tom Brady.
It's got to be Buccaneers.
You're going with him?
I mean, the Falcons have looked good. There's no way
the Falcons throw the ball to Kyle Pitts, please, for the sake of me and everyone's fantasy team.
Isn't he hurt
Kyle
now?
Pitts' family, please throw him the damn ball.
I think he's hurt.
No, he's not.
No, he didn't get hurt against the Browns?
No, if anything, he's suffering from not getting the ballitis. Like, I don't throw him the damn ball,
Yeah,
Marcus Mariota.
Well,
what are you doing?
Was it 2 games ago where they tried to give him the ball a couple times? Or was it last game?
Yeah, they fed him a bunch of targets last week, and he was great.
Zone, right?
He was great, and now the next week they just forget he exists, and now it's just like, excuse me, it's like, hey, remember you went and drafted this guy like 4th overall? Throw him the damn ball. How about that?
Drake London looks like the dude there, though.
Drake London looks great. Kyle Pitts.
Mariota looks good, too. Mariota looks really good.
And if I see Olamide Zacchaeus catch another damn ball, throw it to Kyle Pitts.
Loved him at Virginia.
Yeah, I know. That roster's trash. Throw it to Kyle Pitts. Dolphins, Jets. Zach Wilson is back for the Jets. He's catching passes. He's throwing passes. The Dolphins will be without Tua. Who do you got there?
Who the Dolphins got their backup?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, that's right. Teddy 2 gloves. I'll go with Dolphins.
Okay. Teddy check down. Titans and the team formerly known as the Redskins.
Titans.
Okay.
It's not all of Carson Wentz's fault. The offensive line is straight garbage. He holds on to the ball too long. It's always been a Carson Wentz thing, and they don't get the ball to Terry McLaurin. I don't know why they're not. I know Terry McLaurin's a deep guy, and it takes time to get the ball to the deep guy. So with a shitty offensive line, it's probably not ideal. But still try to manufacture him some touches. I don't know why that's not happening. They don't utilize. If you don't utilize your best player, you suck. That's how it goes.
I don't disagree. What do we got here? 49ers, Panthers, Baker Mayfield struggling. 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo is now the starter. Beautiful man running a very interesting offense. Who do you pick there?
You gotta take the Niners. I don't think it's all Baker's fault. Baker's not playing well, but Matt Rule's checked out, dude. He's done.
Yeah, I think Matt Rule's going to be looking for a college job. I think the Panthers, it's not Baker's fault, but I think they need a better QB than what they have. I think.
I don't know if it matters.
You just think he's out of there.
Yeah, Baker's not playing well. Please don't mince my words here. He's not playing well. But Sam Darnold, I mean, you had there are quarterbacks who have played who have talent, and they've all sucked. There's something.
Panthers
missing.
Feel like Indy to me, right? Like they have a decent team, but they keep going for these mid-level quarterbacks and striking out each time.
I think they're definitely worse, right? Not the quarterbacks, but the team. I mean, the offensive line is never very good. The defense is never very good. I mean, it's not a great roster. And DJ Moore has been underwhelming too. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's because they're not manufacturing him touches as well, but it feels like he's not doing what I thought he was going to be doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, before I type out another tweet, let's Cowboys, Rams just lost the Ramily to the 49ers. Are they good anymore? Matt Stafford looks like he's shot, and they have no run game. Cam Akers, garbage. And outside of Cooper Kupp, I don't know who they're throwing the ball to, but they play the Cowboys. Cooper Rush.
They got Allen Robinson a little bit more involved last week.
Is that something?
I think they get Tyler Higbee's very good. I don't. Can Cooper Rush win 5 games in a row, dude? That feels like it's unsustainable, right? I feel like you have to go to the Rams just based off of pure chance, right? The odds.
You're going against Coop, huh? Going against Cooper.
It doesn't feel sustainable for him to do that, right?
And then, well, look, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be a late decision. But Dak is talking about he'll come back. Dak is saying, I'll try to play.
No way. Not this early. No way. I mean, why would you? I wouldn't want to do it.
He's nervous. Jerry's talking about QB competition. Again, if I was Dak, I got $40 million a year. I would just relax. I would enjoy watching Cooper Kupp, win it. And then I'll come back in the playoffs, or I'll come back later in the year and bring the thing home. But
yeah, give me the Rams. The more you talk.
All right, we'll give you Rams. Yeah, I'm down for Rams. All right, so then we get to the Monday night game, a classic AFC West matchup. This used to be the Hall of Fame game quite often. We got Chiefs Raiders. Chiefs at home. Coming into the Kingdom, the Raiders are 1-3. Devontae Adams, Derek Carr, Buddy Ball isn't really working out, but
no, it's not.
But last week, Josh Jacobs looked like a grown man. So what do you think happens on Monday night?
Taking the Chiefs, bro. I might even bet on this game. The Josh McDaniels experiment might be failed a second time, dude. The Raiders are not good. Darren Waller hasn't done shit. Hunter Renfro's been hurt. They're not. It's not ideal. The Chiefs look like they've hit their stride a little bit. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is getting involved. Isaiah Pacheco's getting involved. I mean, it just feels like, they're. Yeah, I'm leaning Chiefs. All
right, so let me recap and let me see how good my memory is after taking all these hits to the head here in my life. You took Colts. The Colts are now up 12-9. So that might be a good call. You took Patriots over the Lions. You took Jags over the Texans, Bills over the Steelers, Vikings over the Bears, Saints over the Seahawks, Eagles over the Cardinals, Bengals over the Ravens, Packers over the Giants, Browns over the Chargers, Bucks over the Falcons, Dolphins over the Jets, Titans over the Commanders, 49ers over the Panthers, Rams over the Cowboys, and Monday night you've got Chiefs over the Raiders.
That definitely sounds right.
All right. That's what we're going to do. Let's book it. And Josh, we're going to wrap on that. We'll let Ronnie, we gave him a hell of a show here. He's going to have to figure out how to edit it and move the pieces around. But
no shit. This is a long one, dude. Probably should have cut it a little shorter.
Yeah. But we took a long pause, so we gave you 2 hours when we came back. Next one will definitely be shorter. All right, man. Let's wrap. You've got the button, so whenever you hit it, we'll stop.
Oh yeah, I got the button. All right. Well, you can follow me at Josh Keatley 16. You want to drop him your tag?
Yeah, you can follow me at Nate_Atkins3 on Twitter.
All right, we're out of here. I forgot I had the button.